Hello everyone and welcome to I Would Not, Could Not Run, which is an ironic title because it's about running and how we can run if we put our minds to it and how it can change our lives without being too dramatic. My name is Oliver Turnbull and with me is Andrew Tudbury. Hello Andrew, fellow runner. And this is a very special episode because we've actually gone out and found another runner who's going to share with us his experiences. Now, James and Andrew have known each other for a while, and James is another person that Andrew roped into running. You might recall, if you've heard any other episodes of this show, you will have heard that Andrew nagged me for years and years to be a runner. I didn't want to. I was too big, too old, too fat, whatever. And now I am a runner. James has a slightly different story because he's let's say he's a slightly different shape from me. Anyway, let's get into it. Andrew, could you just please, I think it's probably best if you introduce James.
Yeah, well, I guess, I mean, this probably goes back quite a long time in terms of how long I've known James. I think we've known each other for 20 years or so, and we sort of met up every 6 months or so at a social event which involves computer games, actually. And I think we both noticed each other probably over time. I certainly did notice myself getting older and larger as the 6 months ticked by. And then a few years ago, I sort of reversed that trend of getting larger, perhaps not getting older, but getting larger. And I think James noticed that. And then 6 months ago, James started asking some questions about what I was doing and running. And I had a chat to James, and then 6 months later, James is a proper runner. Welcome, James. It's great to have you.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah. I'm wondering. I mean, when we had that first conversation, what was going through your head in terms of what was going to motivate you to start doing something?
The motivation came from one of these GP checks you get when you're 50, 55, and my BMI was 31, so I was on the obese range, so I needed to do something. I tried some cycling, couldn't really keep that up over the winter. I tried swimming, didn't really get on with that, and it was your chat at that weekend that really got me onto it, but particularly when you mentioned the Couch to 5K, and I thought that's something I can manage, because I had every excuse in the book. I was too overweight. I hadn't run since I was 13. My knees wouldn't take it. All the excuses you've had on the podcast so far, I had. Tick, tick, tick. But when you mentioned the Couch to 5K, it was a game changer.
Yeah. So the timing there was quite something, wasn't it? So you were so you're already starting to think about losing some weight, and your BMI was a bit up, and actually I think mine was probably well over 30 when I started running. So did you just go home and pick up a pair of running shoes and just get out the door? What did you do?
Exactly that. So we met on the weekend. On the Sunday, I had a couple of hours on the drive to think about it. Got home, downloaded the app, and then I thought, right, I need some shoes. Went to the garage, found a pair of old trainers that I hadn't touched for months, if not years. Put those on. A pair of shorts I found in a t-shirt, and week one, run one. There. Had a headscarf on to hide my face and a hat because I didn't want to be seen by anyone I might know, and off I went. And I thought I could do this.
Yeah. So did you actually just go out for a run, or did you start off with a Couch to 5K and try
Couch to 5K absolutely as it is. So I can't remember which voice I chose to take me on, but I did the whole thing regimentally, following each week, each run as they suggest. I didn't deviate. I didn't do an extra run. I missed a few because of illness, and I had an injury, so I had a couple of weeks, so it didn't take the 9 weeks. But no, I followed it religiously.
Gosh, yeah, and so how did you find the early weeks then? Did you?
It's a few months back, but what I found is I could do it, and each stage, and it was very clever. You did a little bit more running, little less walking, and so I thought this is something I can actually do. The knees didn't cave in. But also crucial to that is what you mentioned about the diet.
Yeah.
And I don't think I could have done the running without the diet.
Yeah, I think what I've come to understand about James is that he's somehow managed to compress what took me about 6 years into 6 months, which was quite spectacular. So I didn't do the diet thing until quite a bit later. It's great that you did that all at the same time, because you can get all of those benefits, compressed. So the running helps the dieting, and the dieting helps the running, and if you can, get them at the same time. So so you pressed on. Yeah,
I'm running with about over 20 kg less now. And so what I should do is pick up 20 kg and take it on a run.
that's a big old weight. I mean, if you
20
put
kilograms.
Yeah.
Goodness me.
if you put 20 kilograms in a rucksack and picked it up, I mean, you really wouldn't want to go any far, any distance with that, let alone run with it.
But it's also following the Mosley Fast 800 diet quite religiously for several months to get rid of that weight. So the two went hand in hand.
Yeah.
James, can I ask you a question about that? Because I'm trying to lose weight as well. I haven't lost 20 kilograms, but about 12. And did you find when you were running, when you hadn't eaten much, did you find that harder? Because if I'm fasting, I find it quite hard sometimes in terms of energy rather than breathing.
Not at all.
Ah, interesting.
So I often will run in the mornings before I've eaten anything.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
My wife does that. I guess I'm wondering if I found it worse towards the end of the day when you've had a day of activity and you haven't eaten as well, as opposed to fasting through the night. But that's true.
I don't know the science, but I think it's something to do with am I burning off more fat because I haven't eaten?
Aha.
Oh, well, so
Here comes Andrew.
well, I mean, as I guess I might have just read more than anyone else in the room at the moment. But so I think an adult male requires 2,500 calories. But even quite a long run actually burns off surprisingly few calories, actually. So just being alive burns a whole load of calories, fueling the brain as well. But having said that, if you run with a calorie deficit, then it's still going to help the weight loss. It's just that you may not feel fantastic, and of course it's going to vary from person to person because we all have different metabolisms. I sort of feel okay when I run fasted, but I don't run fasted. I'll do like a medium speed to slow speed. If you're going to run fasted, then that probably is going to feel worse. But it probably varies from person to person, actually.
So, something I'm trying to find out more about are the zones that you run in. So I think a lot of my running is in zone 3. Not underground,
Yep.
but heart zones.
So your watch is telling you that, is
Yes,
it, I presume?
so
Yeah.
that's the other thing I've got into, and that's a great motivation, is having gadgets.
Yes.
So having a watch with me, I can listen to podcasts, music, that helps me go around. If I had to say, Oliver, one of my playlist is entirely Leonard Cohen.
Good Lord, what's running?
Yeah, which I remember you said on one of the podcasts might slow you down. I haven't done that test yet, but it's a variety of things. But
Very
one is just
interesting.
Leonard Cohen, go around, probably a bit slower.
That's it. So that's another area where you compressed everything. So I went on a journey with the gadgets and tried lots of different gadgets. I really didn't want to have a watch because I already had a nice watch. I didn't want a sports watch. And I went through all the Fitbits and various other things, and then they were all had various issues, and I ended up with one of the Garmin Forerunner watches, and I just thought, oh, okay, yeah, it just works. It's an ugly thing, but it just works.
But that's the nice thing about knowing you, Andy, is you can do all that research, spend all that money, all that money on the wrong things,
Yeah.
and I get the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had this monstrous watch at work once, and he said he could do everything, but it was about the size of a Vauxhall Viva. And eventually it went the way of Betamax. But anyway.
Yes.
But the watch again is brilliant because I don't understand all of the graphs, but it's all there. But you can see progress, even if you don't follow all the different graphs. You can see you've gone a bit further, you've gone a bit faster. You can vary your routes, you can plot your routes. So when I went to the Broad over the summer, I plotted a couple of routes that I could run on holiday.
Yeah, that is a massive thing to be able to do, because it's really hard to run and look at your phone and follow a route. But that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, just coming back to your journey then. So you didn't really have any problems with Couch to 5K. You didn't need to skip a week. So
No.
you finish Couch to 5K, I guess 5 months ago, something like that, and then you just kept going.
Yeah,
Four
yeah.
months ago even. Yeah.
So I think it could have been August sort of time, and then I just thought, this is okay, I can do it. And so I did my 5K, or it may not have been quite 5K, but it was close to that. And I thought, well, what if I just added on another half K each week, and then another K each week, and you keep doing that, and of course you're going to run further and further.
And that was straight out of after Couch to 5K, was it?
Yeah, literally.
Gosh.
So I did that, and then Couch to 5K, and then it might have been 5.5, and then a week later 6, 6.5.
And
7.
did you get faster? Did you find quite quickly?
I don't know whether I got faster. I was more interested in the length, going for longer.
Right.
But the speed, and again, it's reading one of those books, Andy, about the Mexican tribe.
That was Born to Run.
Yeah, Born to Run.
Yeah.
And
the Bible.
It was one of the things they said about, don't worry about speed. Worry about, there were 3 things, I should remember, 3 things they suggested you worry about. Speed was the last. Speed would come.
Yeah. I don't remember what the other 2 were, but no, that's absolutely right.
And so I wasn't worried about the speed. I was more worried about the running and just doing it. And speed has certainly come, because I've noticed now I'm a lot fast. I wouldn't say I'm fast, but I'm a lot faster than I was.
Yeah, I mean, when
really
you're
talk about.
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
No,
Carry
sorry,
on.
Oliver, you go.
No, I was going to say we don't really talk about numbers because like you say, James, it's about doing it and becoming a runner and not worrying too much. I had a crisis because I got to the point where I could do 5K in 34 minutes, which is very slow. Not ridiculous, but it's very slow. And I didn't get any better, and it discouraged me. And then I realised that's really, really not what it's all about, because my recovery is getting better, my stats are getting better. But I would be interested to know how quick are you now, having run for how long? How long have you run for?
I started, and I know the date because of course Andy and I were away. I started on the 15th of March. No, 16th
What
of
year?
March. This year.
Last year.
This year.
This year.
This 25.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how fast are you running 5 or 10Ks now?
I'm running 10K in about 55 minutes.
Wow.
And 5K in 25.
Yeah, I mean, that is pretty
That's fast.
good.
I mean, I would struggle. I think my fastest 10K, which was a race, okay, it was a hilly race, but that was 51 minutes, and I didn't love that, and you've been running 6 months, I've been running 6 years, and you're already there, and I think my fastest 5K is 350 or something. 2350, which is only a minute or so.
The pattern I've got into is I run 3 times a week, and I'll do 2 10Ks during the working week, Monday to Friday. It depends on work, but usually if I can in the morning, so before work, I can get to work by 9 o'clock having done a 10K. And then at the weekend I'll do something longer. So Saturday I went for a run and I ended up going for 17K.
Yeah.
And
So this is exactly what I was interested in, James, is that, and it's for people who are thinking about running, everybody is different, and there can be someone like you, and you've actually got quite an aptitude for it, as well as just doing it.
Well, I think what I've discovered is I've discovered my athletic career 40 years too late.
Well, you never know. The one thing I've heard is that people like us, late adopter of runners, we sometimes have unworn out parts, if you like. So sometimes our knees can be quite good and our Achilles can be quite good because we haven't battered them by being good at sport over the years, or doing sport over the years.
Big worry was knees and that they're going to go, but they're strong. I can do the sort of sit down. I don't know what they're called, squat thrusts. I can sit down on my knees, and I can just get up and down much more easily. So they've increased.
I found that
strength hugely.
Yeah,
I'm not groaning when I try and pick something up and get out.
No, I think everything gets stronger actually, and if you're not in the, if you're really training hard, if you're in the elite category, or if you're doing ultra marathons, then that there are issues perhaps with things wearing out. But if you're in the amateur to club level running and you're coming to it late, I think what Oliver said is actually really interesting. People who do have an aptitude can actually find themselves having a sort of a late renaissance and actually being quite competitive, as is your wife, Oliver.
Yeah. I mean, she has always been quite fit, but now she's best in class in most of the races she enters.
That's something I haven't yet done. Is any park runs or?
Well, you have to do park run. Yeah,
absolutely have to.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
with us as well, we've got a little set of 5K, 10K races. We've done a couple together now, Andrew, haven't we? And I plod along at the back. But it's just a really interesting point that all this timing stuff doesn't matter, and yet what you've done is remarkable. It's very, very cool.
But it's all incremental as well, just bit by bit. You've got to be quite determined, I think, quite focused.
Well, the benefits
So what
come
I
quick.
found, yeah,
I guess.
yeah, exactly. Sorry, just on that tiny point on focus, because I could easily not do this because that's actually quite painful. So not painful; it's quite uncomfortable sometimes. But once you sort of get into it, and Andrew talks about this a lot. Once you are a runner, like I'm going for a run after this, and I'm really quite looking forward to it. Whereas before, the idea of looking forward to doing a period of quite intense exercise would be a complete anathema. It wouldn't make any sense in my psyche at all. And now it's just something you do. But you're right, though. You do have to be disciplined, and it's not a question of shall I go for a run. It's Monday. I'm due a run, so I do a run, a little bit like doing your teeth or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But, sorry, Andrew.
Well, I think we moved on quite nicely there, and I was just going to say something like, well, eat, sleep, run. It just becomes something that you do, and you have to get your mind into a headspace where it's something that's gone beyond a choice in the way that you don't choose whether you breathe or eat, really, and it's just something that you do, and it maintains your body, and actually it's pretty enjoyable, actually, and any time of the year, which is the topic we'll go on to talk about as well.
Well, the two things I've noticed is, one, the benefit to me, as you know, in health has been huge, and that's because I'm running. So if I stopped running, I wouldn't get that benefit. So I've got to carry on running.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't
It's
actually
part of your maintenance program.
exactly. It doesn't take long. It's 3-4 hours a week. It's
Well,
not
combined
long
with the
to do it.
diet as well. If you
diet,
combine
yeah.
it with your diet, so you probably, I mean, with the BMI in the 30s, you're probably skirting with type 2 diabetes probably, and so that will have gone. You will be eating a far more healthy diet with much less sugar in it. Your blood pressure's probably dropped. Your resting heart rate is going to be in the 50s. It could even go lower.
And I've got so much more energy to do other things.
Yeah, yeah.
But also, I've never regretted going on a run. Actually, you start off
Yeah,
and you do get
good
that feeling,
point.
oh, what am I doing? I could be doing something else. But then you get into a zone, and it's great, which is why I ran for that distance on Saturday. I just was enjoying it. I get home and think that was a good thing.
Yeah, fantastic.
What happens?
Really, really good.
But
point.
I've also had the advantage of starting in the spring, going over the summer, and now I've got to get through the winter. So I'm interested in what you're about to come on to, because I need this advice to keep me going.
Yes, well, that's one advantage of running for 6 years. I think I've probably tried most of the techniques for that. So what gear have you got, James? Then I mean, you haven't had much time to amass. In fact, you've not actually run through the cold weather yet, have you?
I haven't, no. So I haven't got much at all. I've got a watch. I've got a decent pair of headphones, these Shocks.
Oh yeah, great, yeah.
Fantastic, I mean, an amazing pair of headphones. So those I sort of waited until I finished the Couch to 5K to buy as a sort of incentive to get through it. So in terms of footwear, I went to Decathlon and bought an off-the-shelf pair of trainers. I've got a pair of shorts that I borrowed, in inverted commas, off my son. Still haven't returned them, and a shirt from Decathlon. So very little equipment, and that's the beauty of it. You don't need much.
No, I mean, just think of all the complexities that people go to. I mean, the whole gym membership thing, the people buying Peloton stuff, and God, you can spend thousands and thousands on this stuff. And I'm not saying that stuff doesn't have its place. And if you do use this stuff regularly and it works for you, then fill your boots. But I mean, there's something incredibly just simple and primal about putting on a pair of tennis shoes or a pair of anything really, and just heading out the door. And,
but it starts from your front door, whereas if you go to the gym, you've got to get to the gym. When I went swimming for several months swimming, I'd get there some mornings and it was closed because they had some issue with it. So I thought, I can't do anything. That's a wasted journey. Whereas nothing stops, well, almost nothing, touch wood, stops me running.
The sort of barrier to entry is very low, isn't it? Shorts, shoes, a door that opens, and as long as you're not tagged by the police, then you could probably go at any time.
So are you meeting people, James, who are saying, who are looking at you strangely, trying to work out what's different and the fact that you're completely
It's
different?
funny you say that. I have had quite a few comments, and it's actually quite nice. Yeah, people have said, because I have lost, in fact, it's cost me a small fortune as well, because I've had to go shopping.
Buy a whole new wardrobe, yeah.
But
Yeah,
yes,
I noticed the same thing. Again, it happened much slower, but yes, that's amazing.
if you stand sideways on, they can't see you.
Yeah, I created a before and after today just for my wife, and her response was ugh. But it was to the before photo, I think. But yeah.
I wish I.
But the other thing is, it's not just about I don't know about you, but I've noticed this with Andrew. Maybe I watch him slightly too much, but it's not just that you're less chubby. You've got a slightly better shape to you, Andrew. Strangely, your shoulders. I don't monitor you this closely, but I have noticed that particularly when you're in a vest, your shoulders look stronger. Your arms.
Yeah,
look stronger,
I
you're
was
in better
surprised
shape.
by that. I mean, I do have. I think the one thing that you guys maybe don't do that I do is I have. I've got an exercise routine that I try and do 3 times a week. It sometimes drops to once a week, but it's something like half an hour, and it's a body weight type of exercise, which maybe looks a lot like yoga. So I do planks and I do sit-ups, and it came from an NHS site. It's a set of NHS recommended exercises for core strength, and I have just adapted those with a few arm curls and some foot strengthening, and that's what I've done for 4 years or so. I think I was already noticing that that there seemed to be some muscles in my shoulders that I didn't realise were there some years ago, and I think that almost encouraged me to think, well, hang on a minute, I might actually be able to have a visible muscle on my shoulder if I just did a little bit more. It is something else that you have to do on top of the running, but everything is complementary. So if you can find some time to do, planks, core strength, arm curls, a bit of, 10 press ups. That's it.
Because that's something I'm not doing, Andy. I'm not doing any other exercise, anything like those core strengths, and I'm not actually, and I need to look into this, doing proper warm-ups before I run. So I tend to maybe stretch when I put my trainers on, walk to the end of the street, and then start my run. And then a warm down is usually stop at the end of the street, walk 100 yards back up.
Yeah, and that's what I was doing in the early years.
Same here. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the advice is that we should all warm up and warm down. I mean, if you're running slow, I mean, I think we often find the first K is a slow K, and
that's a warm up almost.
I guess at a pinch, if you're not setting off like a bat out of hell, then you could argue that that's your warm up. But I do a mini version of my body weight routine before I run. So I do some press ups and I do some arm curls and some chest press things with just a basic routine, just to get the body comfortable with the idea that exercise is looming. Therefore, you need to get yourself sorted out, body. So that helps. But core. So running is a 360-degree activity. It's a 360-degree exercise where you're using almost all of the muscles in your body. If you can do complementary exercises like core strength, actually cycling, if you can do some cycling as well, that's a great complementary exercise, which is low impact as well. I've just had a spate of injuries at the moment. I've got what I think is a bit of plantar fasciitis in my left heel, which I think which came about because I had a calf strain and then I ran too quickly and then I was running strangely and then so I've hurt my heel slightly. So I'm giving that a rest this week and I've been cycling, which reminds me how fantastic cycling is. The point is aerobic exercise. I'm primarily a runner, but I'm very happy to cross-train into cycling. The only thing I won't cross-train into is swimming because I'm just such a pain in the proverbials.
Well, that's what I find when I did swimming. You've got to get there, you've got to change, you've got to shower off, there's a whole host of things that I didn't enjoy.
Yes.
Actually, I've got a couple of questions for you, James, if I may. One is, And I think it's a very simple answer. You've tried before, sort of, with swimming, and that didn't work. And it feels like maybe it's the barrier to entry to do a swim regularly isn't the thing that got you. But I was interested to see if what else made you stop the swimming thing. And then you also talked about health benefits. And I'd be really interested to learn a little bit more about the health benefits that you talked about, apart from losing weight and feeling more energetic, about those as well. So what stopped you swimming and what
swimming? Partly it was, I think, and I don't like to have allergies, but it was an allergy possibly to. It was like having hay fever after I went swimming, when I think they'd put more chlorine in, and it would my nose would stream. It was terrible.
Could be the wee in the pool.
Could be, yeah, there were other factors, but it was partly that. So there was that was a big barrier. I would feel terrible for a day or two afterwards, but it was also just to get in there, and as I said, there were a couple of times when it was closed, and you're standing outside the swimming pool waiting for them to open in the freezing cold, wearing a pair of swimming trunks, nothing more. And I just wanted
I think you're supposed to go in closed, aren't
you?
Oh, is it? Yeah, I think so.
That's a new thing, isn't it? Yeah, that's post-COVID, I think.
But it was also, I've got to get there. Where I was running, as you said, open the front door, I'm there already.
That's a great genius of it, isn't it? Have you got any thoughts what you might do now with your running? Then, I mean, clubs even.
I quite like the running on my own because it's a bit of me space, and I can actually do a load of thinking. So if I got something I need to solve, I could do a run. I come back home and there's an answer. I've sort of solved things. I can listen to some podcasts, listen to some music. I'm tempted to try a half marathon. There are some Oxford half marathons. I'll try one of those, but you've got to enter, and I'm too late for some of them. I'm just happy doing the 10k and then a bit more at the weekend.
Well, it's still new. It's still new for you.
It is a novelty still. Yeah.
I mean, I'd offer maybe the same advice I offered to Oliver, which is you might try mixing the speeds up a bit. If you're running at the same speed in the coming months, you might try some runs slower, some runs faster, because you can get stuck in the zone 3 trap almost. So people tend to slip into zone 3, and it's a bit of a halfway house between two. It's still fast enough for there to be a bit of suffering, and you might be at the top of your aerobic training, but you're not running hard enough to give anaerobic benefit. So I think some of the advice is it's always better to do more slow runs and some faster runs than to do everything in zone 3. But it's great to be running at all at your level.
Yeah. But it is. I enjoy it, as I think I've said before. I haven't regretted going on a run, and in fact, I get back home feeling so much better in every way, physically and mentally.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I think it's not a bad note to end on, is it, Andrew? Or is there anything else you need to quiz James on?
No, I think that was the last question. I just wondered now that James might be going for the Olympics, whether or not he could, get us a ticket or something.
Well, it's so good that people at our age, and we must be roughly the same age, can do this and get really good quite quickly as well. You don't have to be a plodder like me, although, like you think, the thing I'll take away, James, lots from this, but the one main thing is I've never done a run that I regretted. And I mean, I'm lucky enough not to have been injured yet, and I'm sure I will at some point. But it's absolutely true.
And I've regretted not going on a run.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Is that a corollary? I can't quite remember what corollary is, but it sounds like
it's not easy to say it. It's actually.
Yeah, probably. James, thank you ever so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Been a pleasure.
We'll observe your journey with great interest. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, James.
Bye.
And that was James. What a charming fellow, and great to hear of someone be actually quite good at running.
It was a skill I never knew he had. He's a very skilled man generally, but yes, what an incredible skill.
And just run so to put on your gravestone. Sorry,
and just hardly started his running journey, and still has a lot of experiences to come, but already doing really well.
Yeah, but one thing he hasn't done that we've done, and that is run through the winter. And we talked a little bit to James about that, but you wanted to talk about running through the winter because it's coming. We're recording this in October, so the nights are drawing in and it's getting cooler. I'm quite enjoying the cooler temperatures personally. We'll talk about that in a minute. So you wanted to do a piece on running as the nights get darker and colder, which seemed like a very good idea.
Yes, well, it's sort of winter is coming, isn't it? And I guess one of the things which I probably have some experience at is ticking through six years of running and just being absolutely determined not to not run. So I really, whatever the weather's doing, I don't care. I'm just going to get out there and run. So I just thought it might be worth us. As we tick into October in the UK, maybe other people are listening in other countries, I don't know. But in the UK, October means the nights are really drawing in and the temperatures are dropping. And what does that mean for running?
We do have listeners, by the way, in Spain, funnily enough, so they may not be affected by this, but still, everywhere has different seasons, don't they? Maybe LA doesn't, but anyway, yeah. No, what a good topic to cover, because I remember being in James's position this time last year, sort of autumn 2024, thinking, well, I don't want to stop running, like you said. I don't want anything to get in my way, but what will get in my way in terms of weather, even in Kent, and shall I give you the answer? Yeah, why not?
Go on.
Nothing. The answer for me was nothing. There was no condition under which I didn't run. We did a part run when there was horizontal snow blizzard, which was actually not that great. I remember James in the conversation earlier said he's never been on a run he regretted. That one came very, very close indeed. But in terms of running in the rain, got used to it. Running in the cold, absolutely no problem. I mean, it's a little bit like motorcyclists say, no such thing as the wrong weather, just the wrong kit, really. So if you get yourself kitted out, it works well. But what's your favourite season to run in, or do you find love in all four?
I thought that's an interesting question that we could both think about, actually. Which season do we prefer? And actually, I think I just love the changing of the seasons. And one of my favourite things about running is actually just getting out there and seeing what's happening and the different smells, the smells of autumn and the stuff growing in the spring. And that's all quite exciting. And if we live quite urban lives in the southeast of England, I certainly do. I don't really see a lot of that, actually. And getting out and doing a run helps me see that. And, summer's obviously a great time for being outdoors generally, but actually there are issues with the running, because as soon as the temperature ticks up much above 20 degrees, it's pretty hard work with the running.
Oh, God, yeah.
And you can run obviously early morning and late evening when the temperatures are dipping, but sometimes that's a bit difficult. So actually spring and autumn is probably easiest for running because you've got reasonable daylight. In the UK, the temperatures are somewhere around 8 to 15 degrees, something like that, and that's a great time for personal bests. That's why the marathon is probably in April in the UK. I don't know whether they've actually done it for that reason, but it probably
I'm sure
is.
They have. Yeah,
probably is. Yeah. So then that leaves winter, and winter almost seems technically the most difficult because it's dark, wet, and cold. But actually, it can be very beautiful, and there's much less of a worry for overheating if you're a big chap like me and you are.
The thing about winter as well is, I don't know about you, if you've got I've got not that much hair on top of my head, so I normally wear a bandana or a hat. But if you're running and you've got the right kit and you've got gloves and you've got sleeves on, you've got probably long not shorts on, you've got long, what do they call them? Not trousers, leggings, that's right. You can actually feel like you're some sort of, kind of have a commando fantasy, like I'm jumping over North Russia, saving the world or whatever. And it just feels like you're just braving the elements a bit and being, what we humans are, which is good at operating at various temperatures. I don't know. I think that's probably just me, isn't it?
No, it's interesting. I've got a really similar thing, and that's one of them.
Oh, good.
Yeah, really, it's really funny you say that. I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, but there's a thing about extremes and running in the extreme hot and the extreme cold and the sort of wild man thing. And I like it when it's really cold. It's the frost is on the ground. It's -4. Maybe the sun's rising, and you get out there, and it feels like you're really testing yourself. And that's also one of the reasons why I like to go out and run when it's 34 degrees. And I'm not running fast, but there's something something miraculous about your body being able to use its cooling equipment and the sweating to as evolved on the savannah.
It is amazing. I did a run like that in France, and it was comically slow, and I was comically purple at the end. Probably quite dangerous, actually. I mean, I think we should probably, at our age, be a little bit careful about super overheating. But yeah, you're right. And it was like, God, I'm designed to be able to run in these temperatures, and I can do it in a winter in England as well.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I think lots of the seasons are great for running. In fact, all of the seasons are great for running. Really, I think it's just a question of which season is it currently, and you just get on with it. Yep.
So, what about running in the dark? Is that something that troubles you? The first time I did it, I felt very, very weird, but there was a strange mist coming off the river. And again, so then I was like sort of hunting Jack the Ripper or something like that. I've got a wild imagination, but I'd imagine for some people, maybe it's something that they're not particularly looking forward to, running in the dark.
Yeah, I took the view that I had to run in the dark because it was the only time I had, and for many people, I guess their schedule will dictate when they run. So if people have busy working lives and it's after October and the clocks have changed, then people will be running in the dark, and it's just something that you need to do. So I find it quite exciting. Running in the dark is quite meditative. There's a different ambience. It's less busy. You can run in the park and not bump into people and that sort of thing. I think running in the dark, you just need to be careful of your own personal safety. So I would have thought that it's not something that I'm particularly aware of, but I probably need to be. It's probably not a great time to experiment with new routes, for example. So run where perhaps run with a group, run in parks where people tend to be around, and just keep off dark, breezy roads. And it's probably a good time to consider some gear as well. Actually, do you have any nighttime running gear, Oliver? Or?
I do. My son bought me one of those vests, which I thought was a bit over the top when I was only just starting out, but you can attach different light systems to it, and LEDs being what they are, you can make them quite fancy, which is fun. So I do have that, and I do have a head torch, which also makes you feel rock hard as well. So I will wear that. The other thing, of course, I must remember is watch your feet as well. It's really strange. You actually forget to look down at your feet, and you can't really see as well as you can in the day. And I have tripped over a few times, so do be careful about that. So I haven't got much kit. I've got a woolly hat, gloves, long sleeves, long legs, and I use the same trainers as ever. And I've, in a winter through southeast England, which is not the coldest, I have not felt cold once I've got going. So you don't need anything really expensive, but you've probably done more research.
I think that's that really. I think the head torches, just basic head torches, are amazing, and there's no particular brand. I think they're all pretty much great. So get a decent head torch, and perhaps wear some reflective gear if you're going to run near roads. Actually, I was running through the local woods and trails of Hertfordshire in the dark in winter, properly wooded paths with roots. I don't think I've ever fell over actually. And actually, running through a dark wood in winter by yourself with no one else in the wood, possibly raining, possibly snowing. Actually, running through a snowy wood is really quite something. And I'd be running with my wife usually, but not always. Sometimes she wouldn't be there, so I'd be running by myself. And there's something amazing about that. I'd just be conscious of safety. Where I tend to run and where I live is just unbelievably safe. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend this if you don't trust your environment well. But yes, fantastic. So I don't really find that there's any particular issues with running that can't be solved with a head torch and some reflective gear, really.
Yeah. And like you say, it's a different experience as well, which you can embrace. And the same thing, ice, snow. I have run in the snow. That's quite nice. But I don't like the icy stuff. The black ice is really nasty, and you can just see turning an ankle is so easy, particularly if you're running on roads. I think you've got a tip to run on grass if it's super.
Yeah, I was just we were having a pre-call chat, and I just remembered a story, just very briefly. I was getting ready to do my run a few winters ago, and the sky was looking very heavy. And just suddenly, the snow came down, and it was a blizzard, which we don't often get in Hertfordshire. And it was very, very snowy. And I was still warming up and getting ready to run. And by the time I had got myself ready, that there was 3 or 4 inches of snow on the ground, and I was really cross because I was thinking I can't really run in there, but I can't not do my run. So I went out and did the run, and I worked out that if you run on the grass verges, then it's much less slippy, unsurprisingly. So and it was very beautiful.
Yeah, that's the great thing, though. You had become a runner at that point because you were cross that nature had conspired to put something in the way of you going on your run.
Well, your body wants it. Your body wants it.
Weird. And your mind, I think, probably.
Yeah. And you feel really hard done by. You're all psyched up, and you've got your gear on, and you've created a space in your diary, and it's very difficult to not do it.
Yeah, you're looking forward to the feeling after. As well, and that is weird. I had that. I just cannot believe I have that feeling. It's just extraordinary. James, in the conversation we had with him, talked about school, and he hadn't run since he was 13. And running at school, we've talked about before, is not a particularly pleasant experience. So the idea of moving to a place where I am cross because it's raining, because I can't run. I mean, that when you're a kid, it's just like, is it going? Oh God, it's raining, so we can't go out. It's raining. And of course, I went to a rugby school, so that didn't really help very much. But and now you're just going, if something gets in the way of my run, I'll be grumpy all day. It's insane to actually think I'd think that way.
Well, rain and snow. I mean, there's no real problem with rain. Rain is actually going to have a nice cooling effect, really. And if it's too cold to rain, it's going to snow. Snow is very pretty, but you just need to be careful with the slipperiness.
Definitely, that is no joke. The other thing about rain, I pause before I raise the issue of nipples, but I feel I have to. This is episode 7, and I raised the issue of nipple.
I just see that age rating drifting up now to 25 now.
Yeah, you've got it. That's right. But if you're wearing cotton and it gets heavy in the rain, you can get, I don't know if you found this, you've probably got much better gear than I have, but you can find that it's actually making me feel quite awkward even thinking about it now. Heavy, wet, but also quite steamingly warm cotton rubbing up and down on a decent sized nipple is not going to make necessarily for a good outcome, is what I'm saying. And the only time I've ever had, no, I don't know if you've had this, but you've just got to be careful in the wet that you're not wearing something that's too heavy that retains a lot of water that can. I'm going to have to stop this because I'm starting to feel a bit queasy.
No, it's funny. I haven't really had that. I guess it just we all just have our different little trials and tribulations with various patches of soreness, I guess.
Yes.
Exactly. I mean, do you wear a raincoat? Because I don't actually. I just go in the rain if it's raining. No. Well, I'm going to be completely soaking wet with sweat in about 12 minutes. So what's the point wearing a Mac?
On the horizontal rain day I did, and that we really needed that because it was horizontal snow, and our park run is quite high. Oh God, it was awful. But I still didn't regret doing it. To come back on James's point, but no, I don't. And normally I'd wear a vest. I wore a vest at the weekend, and that was quite just warm enough as well. So it's good. In fact, I'm going out a run now. I can't wait. That's a really thing. I mean, I love doing these podcasts, but I'm sort of almost getting a bit aggy, thinking, hang on a minute, is it going to get dark? Oh, I've got to go on my run. It's just bizarre. So it's not quite dark yet. Any other tips for our friends running in the winter, apart from just do it and you'll get through it?
I guess the only other gear thing is that, and while running does not have to be any kind of expensive sport, I have started to amass different sets of running shoes for different purposes.
Wow. Really?
So I've got the running shoes which I feel happy with on a track. I've got running shoes which are better for slow runs that I feel, and I've got running shoes for trail running shoes and winter running shoes. So if you take your trail running shoes out on a hot, dry day on tarmac, then you'll just kill them.
Really?
scrape the grip off them. So if you run on pavements with trail running shoes, they just won't last very long.
Like Formula One and tyres, which you used to bore the pants off me talking about.
Yes.
So quick, Andrew needs to be on slicks.
Yeah. Oh no, we'll have to pit stop quickly. Pull in. Yeah, and that's worth thinking about. So if you, it depends where you run. So I'm right on the border of countryside. So there's urban running if I want it, and then there's off-road with running through woods. I'm lucky enough to be able to do that. But I don't take my road running shoes in the woods. I mean, they'd be fine, but it would be slippy, and I'd die, and that would be sad.
Yeah. No, that is quite good. I mean, that's the other thing about running. It's like a lot of things, right? The more the barrier to entry is so low, you're in, you're off. But there's so much more to it, the layers under it. And if you like it, like I know you do, there's all that side to it as well, which is lovely, actually. And some of the winter kit's fun as well, because again, you look like you could possibly be a soldier, which is quite nice. And we're starting to look really nice in vests as well in the summer. So it's a win-win in that sense.
Yeah. So that's I mean, even with the waterproof, not the waterproof, the sort of all season running shoes. I mean, we're still not talking about thousands of pounds here. It's not like buying a carbon fibre bicycle or something. I mean, we're talking relatively small amounts of money.
Yeah,
it
must be quite a thrill.
And you don't even need that.
No, because I was just going to say, I'm going to stay with my Escalante. Is that how you pronounce it?
I think so. Escalante, yeah. I've got another pair of those. I think they're amazing. I think they're really good.
So light and comfy. I was sometimes running along going, gosh, I'm comfy. And it's just my feet. But I could be sat with a pipe and a paper around a fire. And what better way to end? Andrew, that was good, really good. That reminded me of running through the winter is not something to fear. It's actually something to embrace and can be beautiful. And you can feel like you're a soldier. Thank you very much, and thanks very much for introducing us to James. That chat earlier was great.
Great, yeah, and that's lovely from James.
Yeah, no, it was really good, and I look forward to seeing on the next one. So farewell, Andrew.
Yep, farewell, Oliver. See you later.
And till the next one. Bye bye.
Wow.